Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our podcast, Your Gardening Questions from Plant Talk Radio. If you have a gardening question you'd like our host Fred Howard to answer, send him an email. The email address is fred@planttalkradio.com. Now for today's question. We also had a email this week, Gary, from Heather. And Heather says, we have a small vegetable garden in our backyard, and it was full of weeds last year. Can you put down a pre-emergent, like preen, before the planting season, or will that hurt the vegetable crop?
Yeah, and so preen typically is not used in vegetable areas, and it won't necessarily hurt the crop, but it's the edible factor afterwards. So, but I did check it out, and there's actually preen do make an organic product for pre-emergent, and it's actually based on the corn gluten. Mm-hmm. And you may not get 100% weed control, and that's true even with the chemicals. And so that's worth a look. It's a preen organic weed preventer, and it's specifically for the vegetable garden. And so that's something to look at. But the normal preen that I think most people know now, you can use that around your shrubs and trees, and they even make some lawn products. But those are not designed for the vegetable garden, or if you have, say, raspberries or things like that. So look for a more organic product. And I was always taught the label is the law. So always look at the labels. They're governed by the EPA, and it will be very clear on there when you can use products around your vegetable gardens or not. And sometimes you can use them, but there's a period of time before it's considered safe to harvest the vegetables. So get into the details of the label, or ask at your local garden center or nursery, and I'm sure there'll be people there to help. Again, look for the organic and the clean approach. Do the weeding this spring before you even plant the vegetables, and kind of start fresh. Use mulch and try to keep the weeds down that way too.
So I suppose it's of course it's too early and been too wet to get out until turn over the garden, or I don't know, maybe some people have. I doubt it though. But so when it's time to do that, as you mentioned, there are some ways you can maybe cut down on the number of weeds this year. Yeah,
and I'm a fan of turning over the soil. That will bring up the annual weeds, particularly though sometimes, and I think that's okay. I almost would let them come and then take them off, and then you've kind of gotten rid of them. Getting the annual weeds before they seed is key. So that's just going to lead to a lot of spread. So get after the weeds early. You can use something like Roundup just to clear an area if it's gotten kind of overgrown with weeds, and then I think the use of mulch definitely help. And then hand weeding, just getting on that right away. Don't let it become a big problem. And again, it's that spread. So if you get the first few ones and kind of keep after them, then you won't end up with a big problem later.
Hey, thanks again for listening to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our other podcasts as well, the Plant of the Week podcast and the Plant Talk Radio podcast, all on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. If you'd like to sponsor a daily podcast, contact us at fred@planttalkradio.com. To find out more about Fred Howard and Plant Talk Radio, visit our website, planttalkradio.com.
Circle270media.com